Right, so this is going to be another serial review. This one's called Undersea Kingdom, 1936. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I love this serial. "12 amazing episodes with Ray Crash Corrigan. Episode 1, Beneath the Ocean's Floor." I want this movie poster. I've got to have this. It's not a movie poster. Why did I say movie review? This is a serial review. All right, that's fixed. It is a movie poster, though. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Produced by Nat Levine with something. Republic Pictures presents Undersea Kingdom with Republic Pictures, a Republic serial. It's got Republic on it 4 times. Undersea Kingdom, 1936, is a Republic Pictures 12-chapter film serial in glorious black and white, released in response to Universal's Flash Gordon. It was the second of the 66 serials made by Republic. This is an early one. I'm used to watching 40s Republic serials. In 1966, the serial was edited into a 100-minute television film titled Charade of Atlantis. I think I prefer the 6-hour version. Following a suspicious earthquake and detecting a series of signals, Professor Norton leads an expedition, including Lieutenant Crash Corrigan and reporter Diana Compton, in his rocket submarine to the suspected location of Atlantis. So Professor Norton is Dr. Zarkov, essentially, and Crash Corrigan is Flash Gordon, and Diana Compton is Dale Arden. Finding the lost continent, they become embroiled in an Atlantean civil war between Sharad and his white robes and the usurper Unga Khan, who's with his black robes. So Unga Khan is the Ming the Merciless of Atlantis. Khan wishes to conquer Atlantis and then destroy the upper world with earthquakes generated by his disintegrator. Thus, he will rule the world unless he can be stopped in time. The star of the serial is Ray Crash Corrigan, using that screen name for the first time. The name was created to sound similar to Flash Gordon. In one of many similarities, formerly a stuntman, he was the person swinging on the vines in Tarzan the Ape Man, 1932. Corrigan went on to use his screen name for the rest of his career in serials and B-westerns. The first 2 chapters of the serial were mocked on the television show Mystery Science Theater 3000 in August of 1992. The plot involves the main character, Crash Corrigan, trying to stop an evil tyrant ruler of Atlantis from conquering the lost continent and then the entire upper world. Lieutenant Crash Corrigan, in his last year at the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, is invited by Billy Norton to visit his father, Professor Norton, after a wrestling match. So Ray Crash Corrigan saves Billy Norton. It's a professional wrestling match. In other words, it's all fake. Then he just jumps up on the rafters and snatches Billy because Billy got stuck up there at their house. The professor is demonstrating his new invention, which can detect and prevent at short range earthquakes, to Diana Compton and his theory about regular tremors from the area where Atlantis used to be. When the Atlantean tyrant Unga Khan and his Black Robe Army turned their disintegrator beam on St. Clair, Professor Norton leads an expedition to investigate. Along with him and his rocket submarine are Crash, Diana, 3 sailors, Briny, Deep, Salty, and Joe, and their pet parrot, Sinbad. Unknown to the expedition unit until it is underway and in trouble, Billy has stowed away on the rocket sub as well. Unga Kong Volkites emerge from the juggernaut. Oh, this is good stuff. This is going to be one of those so bad that it's good type serials. Right up there with the Phantom Creeps. We love Phantom Creeps on this channel. Undersea Kingdom, Chapter 1, Beneath the Ocean Floor. It's 30 minutes and 50 seconds. Problems for the expedition begin when Joe, in charge of the engine room, is driven mad by the fear that the submarine cannot survive such depths. In order to prove this, he locks the engine room door and he sends the sub into a fatal dive. As soon as the crisis is averted, Unga Khan and Captain Hawker detect their approach, and they bring them through the tunnel into the inland sea with a magnetic ray. That's just the first episode. Undersea Kingdom was budgeted at $81,924, although the final negative cost was $99,222, a $17,298 or 21.1% overspend. It was the lowest budget of any Republic serial, but it was only the 3rd cheapest in actual production costs. The serial was filmed between March 3rd and March 28th, 1936, under production number 417. The only cheaper serials were the subsequent The Vigilantes Are Coming, $87,655. And in 1938, The Fighting Devil Dogs. We love The Fighting Devil Dogs. By comparison, the larger Universal Pictures spent $350,000 in producing the first Flash Gordon series. So this is a poor man, Flash Gordon. We love this stuff. We love Republicans. We love Republic serials. All of them. Universal's not bad when we're talking about Flash Gordon. I'm not sure about the others. These include the Volkites. Oh. Okay. Special effects include the Volkites, the robotic army, of the Black Robes, the Juggernaut, their tank, Volplanes, Atlantean rocket ships and Professor Norton's rocket submarine, as well as sets in Unga Khan's tower. So they used sets from a bunch of old silent movies. This is the first appearance of the Republic robot as the Volkites. It would turn up again in Mysterious Dr. Satan, another great one, and Zombies in the Stratosphere, another great one. It is parodied in Star Trek Voyager's The Adventures of Captain Proton. Some of the model effects seen within the serial: Professor Norton's rocket submarine, Unga Khan's Juggernaut tank, one of Unga Khan's volplanes, an aerial torpedo being fired from Unga Khan's tower. Unga Khan's technology. While the technology base of Atlantis is apparently very low, with sword-wielding cavalry and chariots, the main type of military force, Unga Khan's Black Robes or Imperial Guard have several very advanced items of technology. Unga Khan using his reflector plate. Unga Khan's disintegrator is the main plot device, a machine capable of artificially creating earthquakes at the precise target. It is this that leads to Professor Norton's expedition to Atlantis, and also the means by which Unga Khan means to conquer or destroy the upper world. The reflector plate is the most ubiquitous device used throughout the serial. This is a screen that acts much like a view screen or a video phone in more modern science fiction. It is used to communicate between two plates, or it is used more frequently to view and hear any remote location. No cameras or microphones are apparently necessary to the second function, as it appears to have no limits. Viewing the sacred cities, areas of Atlantis and the upper world with no problems. Unga Khan's Imperial Guard are augmented by Volkites, a type of robot controlled by a bulky remote control device often worn by Hacker. They also perform tasks in the tower, for example, operating the master controls of other devices, such as the disintegrator when commanded to by remote control. The remote control of most devices is usually done through remotely controlling the Volkites to operate the master controls, to remotely control the actual device. While the Imperial Guard uses swords or bows, the Volkites are armed with atom guns, rifle-sized ray guns. Occasionally, these are used by others where necessary, but only when taken from a Volkite. In terms of vehicles, Unga Khan has one tank called the Juggernaut. This can be controlled by remote as well as by the driver, either human or Volkite. It has no armament itself, but it is used as a battering ram during siege warfare. Though not used very often, Unga Khan's forces also have several aircraft called volplanes, also known as sky chariots by the White Robes. Unga Khan's tower is armed with one projector, which fires one aerial torpedo at a time. This is again controlled by remote control. Unga Khan uses his transformation formation chamber. Unga Khan uses his transformation chamber to brainwash those unwilling to do his bidding. The effect wears off in time and can be reversed by the chamber. The magnetic ray is used only once to pull the rocket submarine into Atlantis, much like a tractor beam in Star Wars or Star Trek in the first chapter. In the last chapter, an invisible wall of atom rays is activated to provide Unga Khan's tower with a force field to protect it from the United States Navy bombardment. Finally, the tower itself has automatic sliding doors and elevators. The most advanced technology seemingly available to the posing White Robes of Charade are catapults and flamethrowers built into the walls of the sacred city. Undersea's Kingdom official release date is May 30th, 1936, although this is actually the date the sixth chapter was made available to film exchanges. It was really re-released on February 15th, 1950, between the first runs of Radar Patrol versus Spy King and The Invisible Monster. Undersea Kingdom was one of several Republic serials re-released as a film for television in 1966. It was renamed as Charade of Atlantis. This version was cut down to 100 minutes in length. In the words of film historian William C. Klein, Undersea Kingdom was a totally unbelievable but visually enjoyable 12-chapter madhouse chase. Ooh, we love those. I'm not going to mention the cliffhangers or the cliffhanger cheats, but I will go into the IMDb page for your viewing displeasure, listening to me talk about this thing. Here we go, IMDb. All right. Nobody in the chat room tonight. Where is everybody? Where did all my fans go? All three of them. All right. Undersea Kingdom, 1936, 3 hours, 46 minutes. I guess it's not 6 hours after all. I thought each episode was 30 minutes and you got 12 episodes. Isn't that 6 hours? How do they come up with 3 hours, 46 minutes? I don't know. Gets a 4.6 out of 10. Pretty mediocre rating. 647 ratings. So it's not all that obscure. I'm wondering if Professor Quiz recommended this one. I don't remember. It's been so long since Professor Quiz recommended anything. In the second installment of Undersea Kingdom, 1936, the explorers are threatened by soldiers from Atlantis. Then in Destructible Man, 1956. Then in Indestructible Man, 1956, an executed criminal goes on a rampage after being resurrected by mad scientists. Why did they mix a Lon Chaney movie into the storyline for Undersea Kingdom? Oh, more like this, The Phantom Empire. I got to see The Phantom Empire. Then you've got Dick Tracy, which I have seen and reviewed. Radar Men from the Moon, another great Commando Cody serial, Republic Pictures. And then you've got Flash Gordon's Trip to Mars. I'm not sure if that's the second or third Flash Gordon serial. All right, chapter titles. First chapter, Beneath the Ocean Floor. Second chapter, Undersea Kingdom. Third chapter, Arena of Death. Fourth chapter, Revenge of the Volkites. Fifth chapter, Prisoners of Atlantis. Sixth chapter, Juggernaut Strikes. Seventh chapter, Submarine Strikes. Eighth chapter, Into the Metal Tower. Ninth chapter, Death in the Air. 10th chapter, Atlantis Destroyed. 11th chapter, Flaming Death. And 12th chapter, Ascent to the Upper World. Chapter 5, only this chapter that Diana wears a split skirt as opposed to an ankle-length skirt so she can ride a horse to escape back to the sacred city. Quotes. Crash Ray Crash Coordinate says, "How about it, Doc? Do you think that I'll live?" Navy doctor says, "You look kind of weak and puny, but I think you'll pull through." I didn't quite understand that. Crash Corrigan has his chest shaved, but supposedly in one of the scenes you can see his pubic hairs. In the beginning, it looks like sexual intercourse. The beginning of each chapter. That's why people giggle when they see this. This serial was highly edited into a feature-length film under the title Charade of Atlantis. Edited in Charade of Atlantis, 1966. Soundtracks First Call, Traditional Bugle Alert, heard in Chapter 4. All right. Here's a review from B. Smith, 5552 on IMDb. Dated March 20th, 2004. This person is giving it a 5 out of 10, much lower rating. The title of the review is Crash Corrigan Saves the World. Undersea Kingdom could be compared to Universal's popular Flash Gordon serial released the same year. Instead of having the story take place in outer space, Republic stages this one at the bottom of the sea in the lost continent of Atlantis, complete with a madman trying to take over the world and a similarly named hero. Flash Gordon, Crash Corrigan, Unga Khan, Monty Blue has harnessed the atom and is causing earthquakes across North America. Scientist Professor Norton, C. Montague Shaw, has invented a ray that will counteract the earthquakes, which he believes are coming from the ocean floor. As luck would have it, the ever-resourceful Norton has also invented an atomic-powered submarine with which he plans to descend to the ocean floor and discover the source of the carnage. He forms a team which includes Crash Corrigan, Ray Corrigan, a naval lieutenant, and a muscular athlete. Why did the doctor say he was puny? The guy's got bigger muscles than any of the other Navy dudes. Ray Crash Corrigan gets to run around without his shirt for most of the story. Diana Compton, Lewis Wilde, the ever-present newspaper reporter, young Billy, Lee Van Atta, Norton's son. Norton is his assistant Joe, John Bradford, and for comic relief, Briny, Smiley Burnett, and Salty, Frankie Marvin. Excuse me. When the sub descends into the ocean, it is discovered by Unga Khan, who uses a tractor beam. Using a tractor beam, pulls the crew into the undersea world of Atlantis. There, Crash and the gang discover that there are two warring factions: Khan's Black Robe Guards and the White Robe followers of Charade, William Farnham. The Black Robes possess a tank-like machine called the Juggernaut and an army of walking garbage can robots called Volkites. Anyway, to make a long story short, Crash becomes leader of the White Robes army, and Unga Khan captures Professor Norton, alters Professor Norton's mind so that he obeys without question. Khan plans to have Norton produce the priming powder that will ignite the rockets that will propel his tower to the surface, and thereby enable him to take control of the world. Well, Over the course of 12 chapters, Crash and the gang escape numerous life-threatening situations and ultimately save the world. Big surprise! This serial is full of contradictions. Firstly, the Black Robes have harnessed the Atom. The Volkites and the Juggernauts each possess deadly ray guns, yet the soldiers ride in horse-drawn chariots or ride horses and fight with swords, and they even have guided missiles. Secondly, Norton's atomic-powered submarine is left in the hands of two bumbling assistants. Credibility gap here. There are some good and some cheesy special effects. The two sieges on the White Robe City are well done, although I don't know what good that so-called flamethrower is. The flying craft seems to be going in circles, and the tower looks really cheap when it appears on the surface. We like cheap on this channel. Word about the rest of the cast. Booth Howard and Lon Chaney Jr. wasted again. Play Unga Khan's chief henchman. And Lane Chandler plays Sharad's assistant in a bit of offbeat bit of casting. Raymond Harton plays a bad guy, and John Merton a good guy. Halton, of course, is best remembered as the crusty old sidekick in dozens of B-westerns. The muscular Merton, sans mustache, was usually cast as a villain. Burnett and Marvin are given little to do and disappear for several chapters at a time. For Corrigan, this was his first starring role. He played the lead in Republic's The Painted Stallion serial in 1937, as well as beginning a long run as Tucson Smith in the long-running Three Musketeers series. All right. So there's Undersea Kingdom. I definitely got to check out. One of these serials that I haven't seen. I mentioned 4 of the more likes. Oh, the Phantom Empire. I've got to find the Phantom Empire somewhere. All right, cool. Well, there you go. 27-minute review. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Laters.